What is up, everybody? It is your boy Drift, and I am here with my co-host Shinobi. We are back with another episode of the Overnights podcast. If you guys ended up missing the last one, we let you guys know that we were actually going to skip a Friday. Both of us were out of town and traveling and stuff. We are back now to have a two-topic podcast for you guys. We'll mention stuff going on with PlayStation a little bit. I feel like the beginning of the last three podcasts there has been controversy with PlayStation going on. So I don't know what's really going on with PlayStation, but we're gonna mention that briefly before we get into our two topics. And I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and then go ahead and shout out anything he has going on. As always, we'll also shout out everything at the end of the podcast. All links will be in the description below. But I'm gonna go ahead and let him introduce himself.
What's up, y'all? Shinobi Radixan. I do YouTube, and that's pretty much it for right now.
Yep, that is facts. Make sure you guys check out his links in the description below. Let's go ahead and talk about like the PlayStation thing briefly. We both actually don't know what's going on. We're just gonna give you guys a quick PSA of what we've seen all over social media and stuff. And I guess there was something about like the user licenses and saying that you don't own digital games now. From what I seen, people were trying to say if you don't log into your PSN or get online actively somehow, you would lose your licenses to purchasable games through digital. I don't know if that's true or not. And I knew that they were maybe going to add like an age restriction thing to PlayStation, kind of like how they were going to make you verify your age by like the whole new license thing or whatever. That was supposed to be a thing for Discord. That never happened. I don't really see that being confirmed by PlayStation either. Um, so let me get your opinion on what you've heard. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's what you heard around it really.
I mean, that's pretty much it. But like nobody really knows what's going on, so it's like there's really nothing to worry about until like there's an official statement from PlayStation. Because I've heard things from it's just for PS4, and then I've heard things where this was always like an implementation kind of thing, but like it never really was for the 30 days. It was more so to prevent people from like exploiting account sharing or whatever, like making one primary and then like I don't know, like 10 different accounts, and all those accounts then have access to the uh, digi- digital games or whatever. It's kind of all over the place. So I mean, there's really nothing to worry about, I think, for now.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I was getting ready to say, I remember like the game sharing. Like, now that you mentioned that, I just actually like popped up in my head. When you used to game share, like occasionally, like the PlayStations, especially the PS4. Now that you said that, actually it makes me think about a lot. On PS4, like when you would game share, I remember randomly you would get on and the little like lock pad icon would be on some of the logos of your games, and usually you just had to go to like the
Yeah.
settings and do the restore licensing yourself, and then they unlocked. Um, I think this is nothing serious to worry about as well. I honestly think everything you just said is perfect. I think if anything, they're just gonna like, I guess it in quotations, it's a nerf, but I think they'll just take away account sharing, kind of like how you can't account share on PC, like on Steam, you can't really like share games on like that's not a possible thing to do on PC. So worst case scenario, I think maybe they're just gonna do what you said and tone back on game sharing, which would be like an L, I guess. But at the same time, like people have to realize that like it's been going on for a really long time, and people are just like losing money. Like the games are losing money if they allow you to share your games with someone. It's just like an extra person who's not buying the game, and this is happening with everything. So like if people are actually complaining, you got to realize that this has happened to everything. It happens to Netflix. It happens to HBO Max. It happens to all kinds of things, Spotify, etc. Like they just start to limit how much you can share your accounts on things because it just loses people money. So I think that's just may be a thing that would happen with PlayStation. I don't think it's like a negative thing. As long as you can play your purchasable game and you own your game, really that's all that matters. I just think your friend who's probably broke has to probably buy the game himself.
Yeah, and I mean, I could be wrong, but I think they like dropped the number of accounts that you can share like when the PS5 dropped, or maybe it was like when the PS4 dropped down to like two. I think I'm not game sharing with anybody. I don't think right now, so I wouldn't be able to check. But I'm pretty sure it dropped because I remember there was a time where all of us were game sharing with each other, and then like if one person was broke, then we would switch the primary accounts, and then that person would buy the game, and then we'd like switch off like that. But
Yeah.
I, I, I don't know if that was like a transition from the PS4 to the PS5, and like people kind of forgot about it. Because now that I think about it, like that kind of like popped up. Because I remember the PS3 that not really being an issue. But to be fair, I didn't know that many people back then, and I didn't really game share aside from like my brother, so it was just one account. But yeah, I mean, it was bound
Yeah.
to happen anyways. Like if they drop it down to just like one, that might be a little tough. But I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. It is what it is. I think, if anything, I think the company like, because I think the biggest like what I said right now about people being broke, it was a joke, obviously, but I feel like the biggest thing that this actually does affect is like someone who is your friend who's probably like 50-50 about a new game, and like maybe you really like the game, and the best way to get someone to like that game is to like, if you give them the game for free, they're obviously gonna try it. Like there's no harm in like booting up the game if it's free. Like this is a good example of like my friend Manny like sharing MLB with me. Like I don't like baseball, but I got it for free, so I was like I'm gonna log on. Like something like that kind of scenario. But I think that kind of takes it away. But I feel like I think games should allow you to maybe give like promo codes out for like trials. Like I think if I purchase a game, if they're gonna take away game sharing, this is just a good idea. I think that when you purchase the game, you should get like 2 or 3 codes that you can access to share to a friend, which is like giving them pretty much like a trial, like a 10-hour trial or like a 5-hour trial. That gives them enough time to like try the game and then want to buy the game. Because now I feel like the biggest controversy is like playing with friends is obviously like the main goal. Like you always want your friends to play with, especially like your IRL homies. So like if you're playing a new game, you kind of want them to be into the game that you're playing if you want to try it. And when it's a brand new game that they know nothing about, like purchasing a big game like that, obviously sometimes is like iffy, especially like if you don't want to spend $60 on a game. So I think they need to find a way to maybe like allow you to share a beta code or some sort of a replacement for them taking away game sharing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like they used to do that for story mode games specifically, and it not necessarily like a time trial, but it was like a level or two, and then that's when the demo ended. Like once you got to like the end of that second level, and
Oh yeah,
then
yeah.
you can either like replay it, or sometimes it was just like, oh, like thanks for playing or whatever. Um, and then there would be sometimes where if you did play the demo, you could like boot it back up like once the actual game dropped, and then you logged in, you can boot it back up to that point. I mean, so, it's probably more prevalent with like older games, but there are some where you could play damn near the entire game just off of like exploits and shit. I The only reason I mentioned that is because one of them popped up on my recommended. I think it was Banjo Tooie. Um, that was the one. It might have been the first one, but I'm like 90% sure it was the second one. You could literally go through the entire game, damn near. The only thing that you can't do is like a certain world, because once you enter that world, that's when the trial ends. But you don't even like really need to go into that world. It's more of like an RNG thing, based off of the different like puzzle pieces and stuff. But I mean, you basically have a free game in some cases. Like I said, this is probably more prevalent in like older games when people were still trying to figure it out and like get all the jankiness out of it. But yeah, I mean, I feel like time trial would be a good idea though for multiplayer games, since that's like the thing now, and there's not that really many people that are like super focused on like sharing story mode games. At least I don't feel like. I feel like that's like an old school kind of thing. Just because like you had the physical copy, and then you stopped playing it. Your homie wanted to play it. And you're like, yeah, sure, go for it, and then you just hand them a copy.
Yeah, I feel like it is more of a multiplayer thing. Single player games are kind of always been niche. Like if I'm gonna play a single player game, I'm not really like that's probably the game I'm not looking for my friends to try. Like that's more of like I recommend them to try something, but like I'm not like trying to get them to play it. It's more of like, oh, you might want to check this out. It's fun. It's not really
Yeah,
like a hop on and play with me type thing. So I definitely agree with you on that. But yeah, that's everything we got to talk about PlayStation. Like I said, none of this is confirmed nor denied. I know that like people have been getting those like new terms of service agreement things, and people are panicking, thinking if they accept that they're gonna have to do like the age verification ID thing, like how they're doing on plenty of websites on the internet and stuff. And who knows? I wouldn't worry about any of that stuff until it comes out. The only thing that I would worry about is these PlayStation prices going up because that is completely confirmed. PlayStation has already raised the prices of you buying a PS5. So if you've missed out on buying the old price PS5, or if they haven't, you know, raised the price in your area, I would heavily recommend, if you have been sitting there considering to get one, you go get one before the price raises, because it is not cheap to buy a $800 or $900 PS5. That is back to the very beginning of PS5 launches, and I don't know if people remember, but the beginning, first like month or two of PS5, it was very hard to get a hold of them, and even if you did find them, they were super outrageous. And I'm assuming that with all things and price raises, this is going to attract scalpers. So I'm assuming we might go through relaunch COVID, where people are just buying out PlayStation 5s and reselling them for a little bit higher than they're supposed to be. So beware of all that, and maybe go pick up one if you have the money and can pick it up soon. But yeah, we'll go ahead and hop into our topics. The two topics that we have for the podcast have to do with why we were gone. We both, like I said, we're traveling out of town, so we're going to give you guys an update on our life. And then the second part of the podcast, we are going to actually use the topic of what we were talking about to make a challenge for the same kind of idea of what we're doing. We'll explain that when we get there, but I'm going to go ahead and let Shinobi talk about what he did over his week break and why we missed the podcast episode on Friday, and let you guys know the fun adventures that we had.
Yeah, I feel like it was mainly my fault. Just because my schedule just like look, I try to like look forward to something every month. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure, look forward to like the little things in life and all that, just on like a day to day basis. But like when you grind in the 9 to 5, man, you gotta have something to look forward to. For some people, it's like going out to eat on that last day of their work week, or having like one day off where they just like vegetate. You know what I mean? Just kick back. Not me. I like going out specifically for concerts, and I had the blessings of five this month. So I've already gone to four of them. I still got one more towards the end of this month, as of recording. Um, but I went to go see Hanabi, which is like kind of like Baby Metal, if you guys know who Baby Metal is. Um, but more of like the like the grungy kind of sound. But still same feel. They were cool. I wish I was like more into them, just because there wasn't a lot of people like being hyped, and I don't know. It always feels weird when people just got their phones out and recording the performance rather than like being there in the moment. That's just a me thing. I mean, if you enjoy it, then whatever, do it. But um, I feel like it takes away from the experience unless they like tell you like, oh, pull out your phone to like, get the lights out or whatever. But they were cool. The openers were solid. After that, I went to go see um, Masayoshi Takanaka, which is like city pop jazz. That one, that he might be top three performances that I've like seen. Period. That he's 73 and he's still rocking it, and everybody in there. That was probably the most active crowd that I've ever been in. It was immaculate. Um, just resonance from everybody. Everybody was participating and all that. If you don't know who the goat is, very very influential with like the jazz scene. Um, a lot of inspiration coming from him. Um, I highly recommend it. I don't know if he's gonna be like doing any more tours, just because like I mean he's older, and at that age probably good to just like take a break. But that's why I wanted to go see him, because I was also kind of debating on it, because I don't know a lot of his discog, but I was like, the two albums that I like really like them, so I might as well just do it if I have the chance. Um, then after that, I went to go see Bloodywood. That was immaculate. There was so like from all the openers to them, it was really good. Um, and the people that were next to me, it was good company. I mean, everybody was headbanging and participating. I that was like the first time that I actually got barricade to something. I'm usually like second or third row, but not barricade because I mean you got to be like dedicated. If you in the front, you got to be hyping up even the openers. You know what I mean? So I had to put it on. Um, a little bit of a headache afterwards. That was probably the most that I've headbanged ever. But that's because I like finally had space. And the OG next to me, he was like in it. So I was like, I gotta match the energy. I can't be just half-assing it. But highly recommend Bloodywood. Bloodywood is in like Indian folk slash metal band. If you like Linkin Park, you're probably gonna really like them because that's their inspiration and it's the same kind of feel. Um, and then I got to shout out the openers. Encore, it was a band from Spain, hella cool. There were some, I don't know if there were like remixes that they had, but it was kind of like EDM and metal. Um, Ladrones, they were a Mexican metal band. I've never heard of that in my life, and that shit was like surreal. Highly recommend them. I would love to go see them again. Encore 2. And then Pretty Wild. Pretty Wild was cool, but like, you know, all those one fans that they feel like they should be the center of attention at a concert. That we
Oh
had
yeah.
one of those, yeah, in the front, where like they feel like they're performing on stage with them. Like it's cool being like hella excited and shit, but like they were yelling the entire time. They were bugging people around them. Like I don't know. Unless you like at the border of the mosh, then you know it's to be expected. Like people just like bumping into you or like trying to get you hyped up or whatever. But we're at the front. The mosh was several rows behind us. I don't know. That kind of ruined the feel for him, but they were really good. It was two sisters and then the band. Um, and then after that, Hatsune Miku. I mean, absolutely immaculate. This this time they brought out the hologram and not the screen. Thank God. Uh, and it was so good. I if you are into like raves, just try it once. It's like a rave for nerds, but it's so good. And then everybody's like hella friendly too. I got there super early. I got there at 8 in the morning to line up for merch because last year merch was just like terrible. And a lot of people are gonna hear 8 in the morning for merch. That's kind of insane. Don't underestimate Hatsune Miku fans. They will camp out like the night before if they need to. Some people did for wristbands to like save their spot in line to like actually go in. Um, but it do be getting crazy for the merch, specifically for the pen lights. But even like the actual like tour shirts also. But yeah, it was solid. No openers, of course, but it was just 2 hours of light sticks and lasers and the live band just going off. Um, but yeah, it was good times. Good times. Highly recommend just like having something big to look forward to, either like in the middle of the month or like the end of the month. It makes the time go by faster, and you always have something to look forward to. That's like something bigger. You know what I mean? Even if it's not like a trip, just like go out and do something. But yeah, that was me. Um, I kind of ruined the schedule because the plans kind of like changed. Is like especially for like the Bloody Wood and Hatsune Miku ones, just because like they were pretty close to the same time, and it was like I either travel for one or travel for both, but then I can't because the 9 to 5, I don't have enough like PTO or vacation time kind of thing, and then I gotta take my kids, and they're in uni, so they can be missing classes and stuff. So it's like, how do we, rearrange that? But that was why mainly the last one, or last week was skipped. That was my bad. But yeah, it was fun.
No, I'm glad to hear that. It was fun. Like I said, those concerts all sound fun. It's crazy, like, because they're like different types of music, so you got to experience like a little bit of everything. So that's cool.
Yo,
And then, like you said about the High School Miku person, I think like that, like brand is super popular, especially right now because it just resonates with like, I feel like the anime fandom. I feel like if you kind of like watch anime, you
yeah.
kind of like are in that circle of music, especially because like people are always like fantasizing like collabs with characters dressed up as like her look or like that look or aesthetic or even like I've been hyping this game up like crazy, but like even like I've showed you mods on Deadlock. A lot of people like mod some of the female characters to be that character as a playable character, or like it collabed with Fortnite, or like people have modded Warzone skins for it. Any type of gaming anime culture, people have been collabing with that aesthetic and that music. It has just been a popular thing in that culture. So I understand why like the merch line and everything is super popular for that specific thing. I feel like just anything even outside of the concerts, merch wise or product wise, is just super popular.
Oh yeah, there like those concerts. There's always a bunch of people like giving out freebies, like either like prints of art that they made, like handing out stickers, handing out like custom cards and like different things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. As far as like
Yo.
the podcast thing, I don't think it's necessarily all your fault. Like, we were supposed to plan some guests that we couldn't really line up on time, and then obviously I just think neither of us are gonna be perfect. There is gonna be some times where we miss, so don't worry about it. I'll go ahead and talk about my trip. I am also a part of the reason why we didn't have an episode last Friday because I was not gonna be in town. We ended up taking a family vacation. And for me, like my family vacation is kind of like how you just explained, looking forward to something. Mine is a little like, spread out apart. My family and me try to take like a family vacation at least like maybe once or twice a year. And when I say like family vacation, it's not like something small. It's usually something big. Like we go to like Disney World, Disneyland, Magic Mountain, California in general, or out of state or something that we just a cruise last year. So something we try to do something that's like new or actually worth going out for like probably more than a few days. So this time we went to visit my dad's friend. He has a lake house in Alabama. We went there for a little bit. It was super cool. It's literally sick. Like I will try to upload a picture of the view that we had. Like you walk out of his backyard and it's literally like straight to a dock on a lake. It is super fun. We were there for about a week. We did a lot of like fishing, swimming, and activities there. One of the things I'm gonna highlight for the trip is probably what I'll talk about the most. It is something that we got to do because he is only like 2 hours away from Atlanta. So we ended up going to Atlanta for one of the days, and we went to the aquarium in Atlanta and the Coca-Cola factory, which was kind of cool. It's like a museum of like the history of Coca-Cola. You got to like try and make your own drinks. Like I said, the aquarium, I think I was told, or we looked it up, it's like the second or third biggest aquarium in the US,
Yo,
I
yeah.
think. So it was super cool to do that. We got to see like the dolphin show and all the animals and stuff like that. So it was super sick. And it was right next to like where the Falcons play and the baseball team. So we got to see all that. So it was cool to be there for like a week and do all that stuff. Um, it was super fun to be able to do that as a family. That is something that I got to enjoy. Um, the food there is kind of crazy. It's really like Southern style food. So like we tried a bunch of different food places, but it's so funny going from like there and trying like food that they have there, and then I was like thinking like, dude, like the only like Southern type of food we have here is like barely any like type of places like that here. Like we have like
Yeah.
maybe like a Longhorn or like I guess you could say Texas Roadhouse, but there it's like everywhere you go, hole in the wall Southern food. So it's super fun and exciting to go there. I've never been there, so it was super cool. So that was my trip. I don't really have nothing else to highlight. That's really all we did. It was very like more of like a relaxed, cool down, like you said, type of thing. More of like just get away from work, just chill, do things like that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I've been to, I mean, it was like a long ass time ago, so it's probably hella different now, but I've been to both actually, the Coca-Cola factory and the aquarium. The aquarium was sick, but we didn't account for time zones, and we only had like 2 hours in there. But it was still sick, like what we saw. Um, I think the best part about road trips is the music that you listen along the way. Ah, you like that segue?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, we we I'm gonna let you explain it because I didn't fully understand the thing, and plus you were the one that brought it up as the idea. But basically, um, we got to listen to some music, and he's gonna tell you a little bit more about what we gonna do with that.
Yeah, before I explain it, I'm gonna go ahead and shout out the person that I got this idea from. I'll make sure I link the video in the description below. But if you guys are Optic fans and you guys know of Hitch a Ride or who does the host for a Around the Bar, and he's just a member of Optic, he has his own YouTube channel. He did a thing where he involved his friends giving him albums on the spot. It couldn't like just be like a song. It was kind of have to be the whole album. And you ask your friends for your albums. So we went around asking our friends to give us some albums. And the whole aspect of this being relatable to the trip was that in the video, he was like, the scenario was that he was going on a road trip and he had to select one of his friends' albums that he was gonna take with him on the trip. So like just imagine you're traveling somewhere and you get a list of six of your friends' favorite albums, but you can only listen to three of them because that's how long the trip is. So you have to narrow down three from the six of your friends' albums selected to make your own playlist off of those albums. So we went ahead and did that. We asked seven of our friends to give us their favorite albums, and we spent time listening to the albums and trying to pick out songs that we like. And we're gonna pick four albums. So pretty much we're simulating that me and Shinobi are going on a road trip, and we can only bring four out of the seven albums because that's all we have time to listen to. So we're pretty much gonna try to weave through them and agree on four out of the seven albums to take with us on this trip. Now, if our friends are watching, sorry if your album doesn't get picked. We're trying to like pick the ones that we want to agree on. So at the end of the day, all the albums were good. At least that I listened to, I enjoy listening to all of them, especially because our friends gave us a wide variety of taste in music, just like we have been talking about, which is cool that it wasn't all the same genre. It was kind of thrown around all over the place. So we're extremely excited that we got to listen, at least me, that we got to listen to different types of music. I don't know how you felt about that. I liked that there was a wide variety of taste, but we're gonna go ahead and do that. And like I said, to make it a little different, we're just gonna highlight a song or two that we liked personally from the album, even if we don't pick that album for the trip theory. Like we're gonna still say the song that we liked from the album.
Yeah, I'm not sorry if your shit didn't get picked. Pick better music, buddy. Do you? Is there a specific way you want to go through them?
No,
Like, do you want to go through like the same album, or like, do you want to go through like your from your favorite album to the least one? Like,
no, I think we should just go in whatever order. Like, I pretty much I think because I'm pretty sure we have it differently. Let's just name all the albums and the songs we like, and then when we start to like go to pick, maybe at the end we'll try to just start to pick the four. But I think like to make it easier, maybe like because I don't know if you did yours in order or not. Like me, I literally just had the album and then the two songs or a song I liked, and that's all I have as my notes. I was just gonna wait till we both like really talked about liking the album and then picking that album. I don't have mine in order right
okay,
now
I feel
at
you. I
all.
feel
I
you.
just I have like the album and then the songs I like from the album and some notes, and then that's it. I figured we'd go through it
I
randomly and
so
then just
it's
pick.
kind of the yeah, okay, so it's kind of the same order then that I got it. I just have it in like the way that like I send you the majority of them, and then how you sent like yours, that's how I have it listed. So I guess we could go through it like that one. So the first one, shout out Miggy. He recommended DTMF by Bad Bunny. I was actually really excited to listen to this album because when Bad Bunny first came out, I didn't like him. There was probably one song that I liked, and it wasn't even his song. He was just featured on it, and that's Mayores with Becky G, or Carol. No, yeah, Becky G. There's Becky G. There's Carol G. Just like fucking Lil Baby and
Yeah,
all
I
them.
agree.
So yeah, but that was like the only song like back in the day that I liked from him. I don't know. I just like the way that he carried himself. Like he just felt like he was like too full of himself and stuff. Don't get me wrong. Feeling yourself 100%, but like take it with like a little bit of humbleness. You know what I mean? Like don't be doing all that. But he's like completely changed since then. So I've always wanted to like get into his newer music, um, but I like never actually went out and listened to it. So I was excited to listen to this one in particular. Um, I don't know if you gave like yours like a rating out of 10. That's what I did. Overall, I gave this one an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really solid. I'm not gonna go into like super detail with all of them, but just like so y'all have an idea of like how I listen to music and just like albums as a whole. For me, the album got a flow from start to finish. Um, and I don't mean like good song after good song after good song. It's like the production, like how they're all like connected with each other. Uh, and I didn't go through like the main concept for every album. I just happen to know that this one was kind of like a love letter to Puerto Rico, so that was like his thing and why he made uh, this album the way that he did. I would have loved to have Nueva York as my favorite track, but that shit ass beat switch, like literally the last third of the song, I hate that beat switch. It's I get it because he's just like shh, and then like the beat's supposed to cut off and then like couldn't continue, but I feel like it ruins the way that the song looks because like I picture it as like colors. So like when the sample first comes in, you know what I mean? It's like a yellow kind of like pastel kind of color, and then you bring in like the modernness into it, right? You bring in the bass and you bring in the drums and the different kicks. And now you have like this really bright yellow and then all these oranges and then Bad Bunny comes in, it's this bright red, it's just like making you feel good, making you feel like you want to move, and then that shit ass beat switch comes in with this like ugly ass green color, and it's like, why did you pick that? Like you could have just left it as like another song or something. But that's why I rated it an 8 out of 10 because there was a couple songs that were like that for me where the beat switch just wasn't like there for me. Like I got the idea, but I just think it would have been executed or it could have been executed a little bit better. And then the different switches from like song to song. Out of the whole album, Perfumito Nuevo, I really liked. Voltita, I really like. And my favorite track out of like the whole thing, the outro, La Mudanza. That one, like he's just talking his shit. It still carries the Puerto Rico like inspiration, the sounds, and the Pokemon reference. Yeah, I mean, coming out of Bad Bunny, did not expect it, but I mean, Pokemon got motion. Like everybody know about Pokemon, but yeah, that's got to be my favorite track out of the whole thing. I wanted my favorite track is like at least for this album in particular to be one that kind of stayed to that same tone, like his love letter to Puerto Rico, and I think that song was like perfect because it's literally the beginning, like how like his mom and dad met and then had him and then now like where he's at like a full circle moment and it still had like the sounds, the cultural sounds in it. But good shit, Miggy. I like this album.
I'm actually glad that you did the out of 10 thing because I also did the out of 10 thing, so we're on the same page
All
for
right, good,
that.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Um,
just figured it'd be easier because then we're like, okay, this one for sure we like want to save, or yeah,
yeah. I am also like you though when it comes to Bad Bunny. I did not listen to him a lot before this. I had only really heard of him from the song he did with J-Lo and then the song that he did on Fast and the Furious. Those were like the only two songs like I had really listened to of his before this. I'm not like a huge person of him, but obviously like people in my house listen to him, so I've also heard him and our friends, so I've heard like more music by him, but those are two that like for me that I actually listen to. So I also agree with you. This is a good album. I think it's amazing that the album won an award, and the main song of the album, um, DTMF was actually really cool. I think that if I had to like grade it, I also did give it an 8 out of 10. But I actually have the same feeling you had about some of the beats. For me, like when I listen
yeah,
to multiple Bad Bunny songs, it's like he gives you like the vibe that he wants it to be like dancing music, but then like the beat kind of like switches to me, and then in my head I tried to imagine like how people would want to like us like our culture of like Hispanic people like when they dance to like older Spanish music and stuff, it has a certain flow that you can continue to dance to, and with him,
yeah,
it
yeah,
also goes from like party music to like I don't really know how to explain it. It just doesn't like the beat switches sometimes throw off like the pace of how you would dance to it or something like that. So that's where it kind of throws me off. So like for like this is what I'm gonna say. I give it 8 out of 10 as well. I think that's what you give. I give it 8 out of 10, but I give it an eight
right,
out of 10 looking at it from like you said the story. I think the songs. I think this like album completely won an award because it tells a story. It was more about the art than it was the
yeah,
music, and I feel like that's like when people make an album about something that means something to them, I feel like it just stands out more because they're singing about like something important. It's not just like a random pop song or a random dance song that they make that's like just gonna be like a radio hit wonder or something like that. Like this whole album had a story to tell. So looking at it from that point of
yeah,
view, I would give it an 8 out of 10. If I did it from like me personally just listening to it, it would probably be lower for me, just because I don't like that many songs because of the beat switching thing, and I'm just not huge on Spanish music. But for me, my two favorite songs were obviously the DTMF song. I know that's like the main song from the album. That's probably like the easiest casual one to like. But I just like this album. I mean, I like that song a lot. It's really fun. And then I liked EO. I thought that was the next best song for me. Um, so those are my two favorite songs from that album, and I think Mickey did a really good job. This is one of my highest ones. I think this is one. Yeah, no, I have a few with eights, but this is like one of the few ones that is above seven. So um, I'll let you go ahead and start the next one. But yeah,
damn,
that
one of
was
the
my
above. Okay, that okay,
some of
that's
them.
interesting.
Some of them I have under a seven, or at a
Yeah, that's
seven,
crazy.
but
Okay, yeah,
yeah. The
that
rest of them are above it. The rest of them are above sevens. Don't worry, they're not all low. I there's some of them that are below seven.
that's crazy. Okay, yeah. I do want to clarify, like the songs that I mentioned in specifically, like for me, those were like songs I can have on repeat. Like they're
Yeah, mine as well.
probably added to the they're probably added to the playlist most likely for majority of these. Um, Not saying that the other songs are like bad, but it's just like they were cool. Like if somebody was playing them, you know what I mean? I wouldn't ask for a skip, like that kind of thing. If there was one song where I'm like, this is complete ass, then I would have let y'all know. But yeah, do you wanna like wait until we go through all of them to say which album we would say? Because we're supposed to like fight for it, right? Like we both have to agree on the four, right?
Yeah, I mean, we could say we're bringing it with us now and then like knock it off later for another album. So if you want to do that, or we could just wait till the very end and kind of like just weave through it together and be like, "Yo, I think we should take this one." Um, if you're trying to think, if you're trying to say that this one should be one of them, I'm already kind of gonna agree that this could be one of the ones that I
All
would
right, all
take.
right.
But
Yeah, I would definitely pick this one because this I honestly this is probably like a solid like an actual solid uh road trip one because like the songs like you said they're most of them are made to like make you move. So when you going on the road trip, you know what I mean? You already got the excitement in you. This is just like a good time kind of album, kind of thing. So I'm saying like we should keep it. And I feel like we should just go like as we talk about them, like say, oh yeah, we should take it, we should take it, we should not take it, that kind of thing. Because then it makes it harder once we get to like the next one, and then
Yeah.
one of us is like way on the other end, like nah, this album was dog water.
All right, then yeah, we could do like that. Yeah, and like I said, I think this is a good album. I would have been okay with taking this one from the beginning because, like I said, outside of the music, it also tells a story, and I feel like that's what road trips are, like a story. Or it's kind of like art in a way, like you're just living a part of your life that's gonna be like capsuled into like a memory, anyways. So like on the way there, you're hearing a story of essentially someone's like life, which in like tells like their like your journey. It's almost like a vacation in itself. Like you're like taking a tour
Yeah,
of that person's life. So it's like it like ties in with the vacation aspect of you traveling somewhere because you're actually like traveling through someone's like capsule of memories, like I just said that you're creating. So I agree with that one. I agree with this one.
bet. So I kind of lied on next one. So when I asked Tony Compa, um, what his favorite album was, he didn't have one. So I said, give me an artist. And the first one that he said was Don Toliver. So I just looked up what like people would generally classify as like his best album. And it was between like this one and another one, but this one came up more as like, oh, the second time that I listened to it, I feel like this is like a classic album kind of thing, which is The Life of a Don. Um, I I'm not a Don Toliver fan. I really don't like this kind of music, like melodic rap kind of thing. But there was some solid songs on there. Double Standards, Swangin' on Westheimer. I think that's probably my favorite track out of the whole album. That one or um, Outer Space. Get Throwed is another one. I mean, shout out Mustard. I did not expect him to be on the album. And then shout out Drugs and Hella Melodies because my girl is on there, Kelly Uchis. I really only like that song because she was on there. I could do without Don Toliver on that track. But I'm also a little salty that he bagged her. Um, but yeah, I mean, we let it slide. We let it slide. She just didn't know who I am. Yeah, I mean, at that time, if she knew, then different story, different history. Um,
Yeah, that's what I
but
said about
I
Selena Gomez. Don't worry.
yeah. Hey, she's free now. Now you got your chance, buddy. Um, but I think overall, if I was a fan of this kind of genre of music, I could see why it would be like a classic album. Um, because even with those songs, not liking them, like I can have these on the playlist and I wouldn't like get tired of like really listening to them after like a couple listens. Um, I still gave it a 7 out of 10 because like I said, it's not the album for me, but if you like this kind of genre, it might be an 8 or a 9 for you.
I agree with that 100% because I think if this is your type of music, it is a better album. But now that you said that though Tony didn't pick this, this makes my grade of the album feel less harsh because this is one of the ones that I had under a 7. I like literally listened to it a few times. Some of them I tried to go back and listen to more than once because I don't listen to that artist and or music a lot. So I wanted to find a way to like give positive notes or like the album a lot. I just really couldn't. I probably say this one to me was like I literally have on my notes like 5.5 or 6,
Damn,
maybe out of 10.
damn.
I don't know why. I just don't like. I just didn't get into it as much. I'm not usually a huge Don Toliver fan either. But it's funny because some of the songs you said are actually my favorite songs. Drugs and Hella Melodies was one of the ones I like. Swinging on Westheimer was
Hell yeah.
also another one. And then What You Need to me was probably like my favorite one just because it's like a little bit more like mellow and like I feel like that's just a song that you can kind of like play like if you're gonna play a one-off song from this album, I feel like that's a one-off song you could throw on a playlist and it keep the vibe of whatever playlist you're listening to going. Like whether you're gaming, hanging with friends, or party. I just feel like the What You Need song is like kind of like that one song that you kind of can throw on that probably everybody knows from the album. In my
Yeah,
opinion, maybe at least everyone probably knows that one. Or Drugs and Hell Melodies. I feel like that's just a song that everyone's gonna know. Um, so those were like the songs I picked. Those were actually the only songs I like. But yeah, um, it was pretty low for me. I'm just not that big into that specific type of music. I also really don't get into those type of, like you said, melody rappers as much. Like the only ones I really like a lot, and this is mostly because of Fane, is Little Uzi. Um, so again, like we said this on stories in the podcast, talking about music before. When my friends used to come over a lot to play Madden or stuff like that, that was another album, EXO Tour Life and stuff like that. That was another album that Fane would play all the time and put me on. So I'm not really like into like new rappers as much. So the ones I do listen to and that type of music specifically, I feel like those are the only ones I kind of like bear with. But for this album
yeah.
specifically, I just really couldn't get into it as much. So yeah, it's my lowest rated album out of all the albums. And I'm sorry, Tony, this is your favorite artist. Maybe hopefully there's some other songs you like by him that are more W's than this one to me. But yeah, this one was pretty low for me.
Yeah, I like when I think of Don Toliver, the only thing I think about is a meme where he looks like Dr. Nefario, like performing on, I think it was like Coachella. I don't know if you've seen that video, but like his side profile is
No.
literally 1-to-1 to the boy. Um, I'll send it to you later. That shit is hilarious. Um, I this might just be like me, but I feel like he would probably hit more on features rather than whole songs. Um, but like I said, I don't really listen to melody rap, so that might be an L take. But um, yeah, this one I think we can both say for sure is not making the cut.
Yeah, I wouldn't make it for me.
Yeah, for sure. So JJ, this one actually kind of surprised me. He went with Casino by Baby Keem. I mean, shouts out Keem. His first album was really good. I didn't listen to like the whole thing, but the songs that I listened to, um, they were slick. I liked them. But I don't think he's dropped anything since then. And I'm not talking about like a whole project. I don't even think like singles or anything. I could be wrong on that. I was surprised JJ said that this was his favorite current album because the Baby Keem fan is vain. Um, but I was excited to listen to this one because a lot of people had been anticipating it, like waiting for Keem to drop, like the hardcore fans. Um, this one, I don't know what the theme was. I know the title is Casino, but I it was a long time since the first album. So I don't know if this was just like stuff that he wanted to get off his mind or anything. Um, I didn't mind that the songs didn't like flow into each other all that much, and I think it's because like the theme of it, or rather not knowing the theme of it. But favorite tracks, Casino, obviously the track title. Uh, I am not a lyricist. This one was like almost my favorite one, just because it had like that like Andre 3000 kind of vibe. Sex Appeal, shout out Too Short. Was not expecting him to be on the
I,
album.
I also was not
Um,
expecting that.
yeah, this one was almost my favorite track just because it was too short. But I was like, this cannot be the shit that I'm like recommending. And then Circus Circus Freestyle was another good one. And then I forget I didn't put it down, but it was like uh, Delicate Girl or Dedicated Girl, um, something like that. That's probably my favorite track out of the whole album. And it's weird because if you listen to the whole album, this is like one of the songs where you would have not expected to be on there just because like the tone of the song is like way different. It reminds me a lot of like a Tizo touchdown kind of song. I feel like he would have hit as a feature on that shit. But overall, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that was a good grade. And actually, again, we had like some similar songs on the album. I also gave it the same exact grade, which is 8 out of 10. For me, I'm not familiar with this artist again. This was like really my first time really listening to him, and I actually like the I had a bunch of like a few positive notes. I also agree with exactly. It's funny because we're thinking alike now. The thing you just said about like the Andre 3000, I feel like this whole album, yes, it's not like the Bad Bunny thing at all, where it's like a story to be told or anything. It is just a bunch of tracks on an album that just went really good. They didn't really flow like a story, but they were really good. But I was gonna say that what surprised me the most about this, and I think why I'm so high on it, is because when you listen to a majority of the songs, like the song with Too Short or like the song with Kendrick, or I'm Not a Lyricist, it very much reminds you of like that. Andre 3000, Wu Tang type of like, and I don't mean Wu Tang like the style. I mean like I felt like this album was like something that you just put a pen to a paper on a notepad somewhere
Yeah,
that wasn't in a studio. Like I feel like these were all like you and your homie that's a producer, like, chopping it up, writing down some lyrics at your house, and then this just becomes
yeah,
something special. And like, that's what it reminds me of when I say like the Wu Tang era, like of like recording it in like an apartment, fucking just randomly just pen to paper, and this is music. And that's the kind of vibe that this whole album gave me as far as like rap music. Like there's a difference. I hope you kind of know what I'm saying. There's a
no,
difference from
yeah,
like like a Drake track that was recorded in a studio that is gonna be a banger to like this guy where it felt like like an Eminem vibe, like he's just sitting there writing like line by line on a notebook on a train ride somewhere in New York type shit. Like that's kind of like what it reminded me of, like a very like laid back, like I said, very lyrical um type of music. So for me, I also had I Am Not a Lyricist as one of the songs I liked. I guess this is recency bias, and I already mentioned I thought the Good First song featuring Kendrick was really good. I just feel like anything Kendrick is a part of right now at this specific time period, he is just booming. A lot of the songs that he has made recently have just been popping. I've became more attuned to wanting to listen to him more. I could be recency bias, but yeah, but my favorite song actually was Highway 95 Part 2. That's probably my favorite song. I feel like that's a song that I actually went back to listen to more than once out of all of the songs on the album. Like I actually almost was just putting this on my playlist. Like I literally was just streaming, listening to this song as well. So I like it, and I agree with you. It is an 8 out of 10. Um, this probably could be one of the ones I flexed on to keep. I don't know about you, whether you think it's one we take or not, but I feel like this is one of the ones that we could have flexed and took as my second album to take. I don't know about you and your opinion.
I think Drake did not like us talking about Kendrick, and he decided to DDoS me. Uh,
Y'all, all
that
good,
that
dude. All
that
good.
happens. We know where you live, buddy. It's already been posted, but yeah, that happened. Um, what was the last thing that you
The last thing I said was, um,
he called mid sentence?
yeah, the last thing I think I was saying about the album was the style of the album, and then I just said that Highway
Right.
95 Part 2 was my favorite. I don't know if you heard that part, was my favorite song in the
Okay,
album.
that's okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I said that this could be one of the ones that we took with us as a flex. I feel like this is one of the ones I would slot into like the second album we took with us, just because I really liked it.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree on that. Side note on like the Kendrick features. I don't know what Kendrick was on that one song when the lyrics were just like I'm missing on your booty, I'm kissing on your booty, I'm loving on your booty. That boy had to like rub one out before he got into the studio with that one.
Yeah,
But aside from that, solid album.
yeah. Like I said, I
Um,
did like the song, and I did like that song, but that wasn't like my favorite one. But like I said, I just feel like anything that he has been a part of recently has been pretty popular or sustained pretty well with the public. And I don't know, I feel like it is recent by it, but he has been an artist that when he collabs on something has usually been good.
that is true. That is true. Speaking of Fane, uh, he was the next one. And it's funny that you mentioned Uzi because at first he did say the it was an Uzi album. I can't remember which one. Um, but then he was like, "Oh, right now, that would be Sad Boys for Life 2 by Junior H." Um, Not for me. I just like it's so funny that he recommended this album just because like where he at right now. But I could not like get into it. I feel like I mean it's in the title, Sad Boys. These are all just sad songs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dog, I I want to support the culture, but at the same time, I got to be in the mood for like not just a sad song, but like a whole sad album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going through it, this was probably like one of the two albums where I was like, I don't really think I want to listen to the whole thing. But I did. I pushed through. Um, there were really only two tracks that I was like, okay, I could put these on a playlist, and then I like these, which is La Cherry and A Tu Nombre. But aside from that, all the other tracks were like, oh, once is enough. Probably more than once is like way enough. Could have lived with it without listening to it. I give this one, and I'm being generous, just because I don't want to be like super biased, but like 7 out of 10.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, we're on sync right now, dude.
Hell yeah.
That's exactly what I gave mine as well. And I do agree with you about like the sad stuff. I just feel like like it just reminds me of like this kind of Spanish music our parents will listen to, in a way. Like I know it is like a newer style, but like what he's singing about and the things that are going on in the album, it like just kind of reminds you of like just really depressing stuff, and which is like a lot of old Spanish music. So for me, my favorite songs for the album were either Paris or Rockstar. But again, it's also not like for me, I don't think this is something that I could listen to all the time or very often. So my grade was also 7 out of 10. And yeah, I don't know if this would be one of the ones that I took with this. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I'm cool with not taking this one. You know, like if I'm on a road trip, unless I'm like going back home, maybe I want to listen to some sad shit. But because like the road trip is over, but going and like actually starting the road trip, this one ain't it.
Yeah,
It,
I
it
agree.
it's definitely like a album you listen to when you're just going through it, kind of thing. Um, which is funny because he listens to this like all the time, at least like right now.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. Uh, this next one, I was actually not looking forward to this one. I I'm not like a big fan, and even when I don't want to say when he was like still a thing, but when he was like at his peak, I guess, as far as like attention from everybody, I didn't really listen to um, his music. But this one was from Artsy, Father Figure by John Bellion. That was my impression going into it. Coming out of it, this is honestly like one of the albums that I would take. And it's just because it has like those storytelling songs in it. It's not one where I'm like super focused on like the actual transitions, even though they were like really good from like song to song. Why is probably like the song that I first listened to off the um, album. I mean, I listened to it in order, but it was the first song where I was like, all right, hold on, I'm listening. Which is funny because it had like I don't remember if you said he was your favorite artist or not, but one of your favorite artists on there. Um, and it was just like completely like sound wise different from anything that I would listen to, but I really liked it. It was almost my favorite track out of the whole album, and I think it was just because it reminded me a lot of "Temporary" by Eminem. Um, if you guys didn't listen to that album, this both songs are like kind of the same, just talking about like fatherhood. Eminem's was more of like, damn, like I've seen you grow old now, and now I gotta like not necessarily stop being a father, but like I gotta stop like seeing you like as my baby kind of thing.
Yeah.
Why is like the beginning of that? It's like, damn, like I gotta find love, and then this is gonna be like hella hard, and then it goes to um, the second verse, and it's like, oh, like when till like you be a dad, and then you'll see like what kind of like hardship in love is kind of thing. But from there, like after that, I think that's when I like really really like the album. Italia Breeze, Kid Again, Modern Times, Wash 2, Rich and Broke, My Boy. My Boy is, I would probably say, is my favorite out of the whole album, just because it kind of just ties it all in. It's just him being like, shit, like kind of like it's kind of like a continuation from Why, because now he's just like realizing like, shit, I have my kid like protected in this home. That's all they really know is like what's within these four walls. Once he goes out into the real world, shit's gonna hit the fan, and I don't want him to like go through that. How do I deal with that kind of thing? Um, so it's this is one of those albums where like yes it's sad, but it's more because like it's hella relatable and like really hits you in the feels.
Yeah,
So
I
you
agree.
definitely shed like a man tear every now and then listening to it. I gave this one an 8.5 out of 10. This one was like actually really solid, and I was super surprised because I'm not a big John Bellion fan. um, I think the only song that I knew of him before that I kind of listened to regularly was Superman, and that was it. But I actually really like this album.
Yeah, I'm actually exactly with you as far as everything you just said about the way the album makes you feel and stuff. And again, I feel like there's a difference between um like what the topic of the album is and what like when you're listening to it compared to what the story is trying to tell you, because then like I said, it becomes deeper than music. It's a more of art. And I feel like when you appreciate the art and the story of the music, it doesn't really matter about the topic, because the story being told the kind of overweighs like I guess the depression and or happiness of the album, because it's more about the story regardless of how it makes you feel, and that's kind of what oversteps it. So
Yeah,
for me, this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but I actually gave it a similar grade to you. But I have like a metric kind of. I feel like depending on the mood that you're in and what kind of music you're gonna listen to, I feel like this is either a 7.5 out of 10 or an 8.5 out of 10. Meaning that like if it's something that you're gonna throw on, and you're not like in the mood for this type of music, it's still good enough to be a 7.5. But like if like everyone gets in those moods where you want to listen to like that type of music, then it becomes like an 8.5 out of 10 as well. So like it's crazy that we're very similar on our grades. I know that's kind of a funny way to grade it, but in my head it's like if I'm in the mood to listen to like the kind of music that puts you in your feels, I feel like it's higher. That grade in that moment is probably higher than what it would be overall. That's kind of why I gave it a second grade before 10, but we're still somewhere in the same ballpark. And
yeah,
the songs that you mentioned are also songs that I actually really liked. I liked Kid Again. I liked Wash 1 and Part 2. And my favorite song in the album obviously was Why featuring Luke Combs. And now Luke Combs isn't my favorite country
yup,
artist, but we have mentioned him on the podcast before. Everyone in my household, including my wife, are very big fans of him. So it's just a song that I listened to first. It caught my attention first. I like the song. And I also think that this could be an album that we brought with us. Um, Speaking of John Bellion, all of our friends are fans of him. And for me, he kind of gives me the same vibe as like Logic. And I don't mean like music wise, I meant like the way I listened to him. I did like a lot of his older stuff. I liked Human Conditioning. I liked some of the Definition, some of the songs in that albums. But then like after that, he didn't really come out with albums, and he had a bunch of singles in between. And like what I mean by like he kind of reminds me of Logic, because our friend group was also heavily into Logic. When I first hung out with them, like everyone fucking listened to him, everyone listened to the album, all of us liked them. But now it's like when I think of John Bellion, I think of him same as Logic, because Logic is also one of my favorite artists. Is that I can only really go back and listen to the old stuff, and I'm just not a fan of him now. So I very much was like you. When I first expected to listen to this, I was like, dude, I'm not gonna like this. I haven't liked John Bellion since fucking back then. So I don't really like any of his new
Yeah.
stuff. I haven't really liked any of his new stuff after the Human Conditioning. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna like this. Like, it's just the same. It's the same thing as me trying to listen to Logic now. Like, it doesn't hit the same as like, his old albums. It doesn't hit the same as his mixtape or anything like that. So it's like, I don't know, man. John Bielan, I didn't think it was gonna hit, but then I came out of it just like you with a higher grade. And I think, like I said, if you're specifically in the mood for this type of music, it is even higher than the initial grade that I gave it. It was more of like you listen to it a second time and you're like, damn, like this is actually really good.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely more of like an album where like you kind of just gotta like sit and think about it. I would take it on the road trip, just because I mean, there's like slower times in the trip, so then you can throw this on and just like think about life, and then you'd be like, damn, I gotta really enjoy this trip because these moments are gonna go by fast, kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
All right, so the next one, I don't remember who you asked, but
That's
it
my friend
was
Shay.
there you go. But it was Meteora by Linkin Park. This one I was actually excited to listen to because Linkin Park was one of those names that you would always see back in like the 2000s era.
Yeah,
But I never like actually listened to them. My only like association with Linkin Park when I think of Linkin Park is Transformers.
that's
So
everyone's thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So but it was funny because Bloodywood, their main inspiration was Linkin Park, and like coming out of that concert, I was like, okay, if I really like them, I'm probably gonna like Linkin Park then. And I actually did. They remind me of like Samurai Champloo. I don't know if you've seen that anime or if y'all know of that anime, but it's like obviously like samurais, but it's mixed with like hip hop throughout the episodes. Like there's the commercial breaks, they're like actual breaks within like a beat, and coming like back from the commercial breaks, it's like another like break from the beat, kind of thing. So it makes it like all flow well. And you wouldn't think like anime and hip hop go together, just the same as like you probably wouldn't think rapping and essentially just like rock and sometimes like metal vibes go together.
Yeah,
But I really like this album. Don't Stay, Faint, Figure oh 09, Breaking the Habit, Nobody's Listening. Nobody's Listening is probably my favorite track out of the whole album, just because it was all different, and that was like the main track that reminded me of Samurai Champloo. Um, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I don't know if I'm just glazing because I've recently been into this kind of music, but this one is solid.
yeah, I agree. I think you listen to a good Linkin Park album. I think this is one of their earlier albums. So like, and this is like a hidden gem because now like people also obviously think of their newer music and or the albums tied to Transformers, which like you said is like kind of a meme in a way. But if you look past that, I think that they have some great music, and I think that this is one of their albums a little before Transformers. Um, so I like that this album you got to listen to an experience. For me, I also give it a high grade. This is my only and first 10 out of 10 on the list just because I like all the songs on this album. And I do catch myself now listening to rock a lot more than other genres that I used to listen to. I've always listened to rock. I love like 3 Days Grace. I love all this kind of stuff. But this album specifically, I like Somewhere I Belong is probably like my favorite song. That might be one of my favorite Linkin Park songs of all time, honestly. And then I like Lying from You. Obviously, Numb is a classic. Faint is a really good song. The whole album from top to bottom is really good. I like a majority of Linkin Park's music, so this was an easy 10 out of 10 for me. Um, this is like kind of like at where I'll explain it. Actually, I'll save that for the next part. But
Mm.
yeah, I think for me, another reason why I like the music is beyond this album being good, it just reminds me of my childhood. For those of you that like watched, like he said, like anime is actually a part of this. Anime and or like any type of like superhero or wrestling PLE edits. I think when you think about like vintage YouTube and the way people used to add music to like sick moments of edits, whether to anything you're watching like anime or like I said, like wrestling PLEs or anything, you kind of just threw on rock music over that as like an edit. And Linkin Park was always one of those albums or songs that people played over edits. It was like them, Limp Bizkit, 3 Days Grace, um, stuff like that. Like those are like controversially like the most picked like songs for edits when it comes to like even now on TikTok, like a lot of people still use those edits over like wrestling clips or anime clips or Valorant clips or whatever. People use those kind of music and that kind of songs to edit like all kinds of edits. So it just reminds me of something that I'm a huge fan of. Um, or even COD montages. I feel like if you didn't pick like a rap song, it was always rock or rap was literally everyone's go-to for edits when it came to editing like montages or like mini tages or gaming highlights or like I said like sick moments in anime highlights or whatever. Like I could literally look up like anime fights with that songs over it from like old YouTube edits before editing got all crazy, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yup.
yeah, this was a pretty much a 10 out of 10 for me. This will probably be the fourth album that I bring with us. I don't know if I'm pretty sure now that you said that's recently biased for you. I think that'll probably be an agreement for you. That'll probably be the fourth album that I take with us.
Yeah, I would agree. The next one, like, it was cool, but like, I don't know. I think just the vocals were just like not for me. And that is "Got Your Six" by Five Finger Death Punch. I was actually kind of excited for this one, also because Five Finger Death Punch is also a name that you would hear a lot back in the
Yep.
day, but I never got into them. But yeah, it was really just the vocals. I love like the guitars and the drums and all that throughout the album. Uh, d- I don't know. So I don't know who the main singer is, but like it just that it just was not hitting. I still did like a couple songs. Got Your Six, My Nemesis, No Sudden Movement, Boots and Blood. That's probably my favorite track out of the album. And then You're Not My Kind. But yeah, just because like the vocals are like one of like the main things, um, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I might like it
Dude,
more,
we are cooking.
later, but
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, my bad. Sorry. I didn't mean, if you're not done talking, my bad.
no, like that. I was good there. Yeah,
All right. Well, I was saying we were cooking because that is actually my exact grade as well. 7.5 out of 10 was my grade
yeah,
for this album. This obviously came from Apollonius or Vic. You guys see him on my stream all the time. He's also been in. I'm not sure if he's been in some of your videos or not. He might have. I don't know. Anyway, my brother picked this song, and for me, the reason it's a 7.5 out of 10 for me is because I just previously mentioned that I like rock music and stuff like that. And what I was gonna say, where I said I was gonna save it when we talk about Linkin Park, is Linkin Park and like Limp Bizkit and 3 Days Grace to me is like this is the thing with rock. I like rock to an extent. Like too hard of rock, I am not a huge fan of. Like I have to really be in the mood to like listen to that kind of rock, if that makes sense. Because there's like different genres of rock, I guess, and like the hard like screamo type rock. I just like, for me, I gotta listen to like I said, like if I'm listening to Linkin Park or 3 Days Grace, they're like kind of hard, but they don't get as hard as this. Like if I'm gonna listen to Five Finger Death Punch, it's gonna be a singular song in the middle of me listening to like I guess lighter rock, if that makes sense. It's kind of like the same thing with like Papa Roach or like Green Day. When you start to get like to these hard screamer like type of rock, it's like here and there in between listening to like the other rock. It's a little confusing. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say, but yeah, for me, it's just too. I can't listen to too much of it at the same time because it's just like it's almost
yeah,
like it has to. You have to be in the mood to get like that hard, if that makes sense, like that hard of rock to make for it to like make sense. But for me, I like Wash It All Away. I do like Gotcha Six as well. Dying in My Grave, or Digging My Grave, I mean, and then Hell to Pay. Wash It All Away or Hell to Pay are probably one of my favorite ones from the album. But yeah, I gave it the same grade as you. And I don't think this would be like a controversial thing to change. One of the four that we have, I actually don't think I have to go back and change it. Those would probably be the four that I take easily. So I don't know about you, but yeah,
Yeah, I think the four that we took were would be would be good. This one would not be one that I would take.
yeah, I agree. All right, well then that makes it easier than us going back and changing it up. Our list was exactly like that. So for those of you guys who want to get an overall list, it was the Bad Bunny album, the Baby Keem album, Linkin Park, and what's the one we picked? John Bellion. There we go. Sorry.
Father figure.
Yeah, Father
Yep.
Figure by John Bellion. Those four albums by those four artists were the albums that we took. So now that is the end of the challenge. So hopefully you guys kind of understand what we were doing. We pretty much would be taking a trip where we had enough time to listen to all four of these albums. And those are the four albums that me and Shinobi would listen to on the way to whatever location we were going to. So, like I said, huge shout out to Hitch. Thank you for the idea for this. I thought it was super fun. The minute I seen him do it, I kind of thought it would be a good idea for the podcast because we had just started recording the podcast again, and obviously our friends listen and probably. I thought it'd be a cool way to get them involved. You know, shout out to the ones who actually picked good albums. RIP, my boy Tony's album. Sorry. Uh, I,
Yeah, that was probably the least favorite.
yeah, but other than that, like I said, I hope you guys did enjoy the podcast. We have been yapping for a while. We're letting you guys know that we are going to be back regularly on Fridays. If anything happens in our personal life where we have to set back a podcast, we will let you guys know. But other than that, make sure you guys stay tuned. Turn on bell notifications for future videos. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And I'm going to go ahead and let uh, Shinobi do his outro, and then maybe we'll drop a question for you guys to answer at the end of the podcast, and then that'll be it.
Yeah, I mean, just appreciate y'all for tuning in. Um, the albums that we picked, I mean, they're all kind of worth the listen, I guess. But the ones that we picked, I feel like give a good variety.
I agree.
And if any of them pique your interest, like even with just like one of the songs, like if you've just by chance happen to come across it and listen to it, give the whole album a listen to, because I think it'll be worth it.
100%. I think, like I said, that's probably my favorite part about this whole challenge is that our friends picked a variety of music. It wasn't all the same topic or same genre. I mean, but yeah. Other than
Yeah.
that, I think my question for y'all or our question for y'all would probably be either pick your favorite album from this list if you guys listen to it, and or drop an album that you guys would want to have as a contender for us to maybe put in the next trip. But other than that, like I said, it has been your boy Drift and Shinobi. We will see you guys in the next one. All of our links are in the description below. So peace.